Random scraps and bits of this, turn them into something you can't miss. Junk journals, tapes, and crafts galore. He'll have you begging, show me more. Oh, dash it, babe. Oh, what a sight. Mixing colors, day and night.
Hello everyone, it's Dash Dave here, and I'm back for another crafty video. So today we have another one sheet wonder. Today it's called the Secret 7. So it has 7 pockets. Okay, so we've got this one on the front here, we've got this one here, which is a pocket down here, we've got this one on the back. Okay, so we open it up like this. This is all made from one sheet of paper, one sheet of card. So it opens up like this. We've got another pocket on the inside here. So this is that pocket that we can see from the outside. And then we have this pocket that presents itself to you. And there's a pocket just in here. So it's probably a bit glued in because I was making it last night. There you go. So that's my pocket there. So, and this is the reason it's called the Secret 7. Because we've got further 1, 2 and 3 pockets here. And like I say, it presents to you. So as you close it, it hides itself back away, closes up, and there you go. That's your Secret 7. Now, I've made these kind of cards for, this is a great way to, if you make it just as a greetings card, it's a great way to give like gift vouchers, gift tokens, that sort of thing. Those gift cards. It's a great way to give one of those. Now, I've made them, you know, in my past previously, but I've been trying to like just work out a way to make it into a one sheet wonder. So this is my take on, this is my first iteration of making it as a one sheet wonder. As I go down the line and I continue to make more one sheet wonders, I may come back to this and remake it in a different way. But this is my first one where I've only used one sheet of paper. So we're going to use again another sheet. This time we're going to use this buggy one. They're not my favorite, so that's the reason why I kind of used them for these things. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a 12 by 12, like I say, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut this, and we're talking about top to bottom. We're going to turn it so that we're cutting the top bit off, so, or the bottom bit, because that's what's going to make you wrap. That's what this, the outer is going to be made from this first cut. Okay, the first one that we're going to cut off. So this is going, we're going to cut this down to 6 inches high, because this is 6 inches high. Okay, so down to 6 inches high. Okay, and because this is a 12 by 12, oh, there's an extra piece of cut. That's not because this is a 12 by 12, there's an extra piece of paper in there, but because it's a 12 by 12, I can use either side of those. So they're both exactly the same size. I think I might use this one and keep that for the other bits. So now we've cut it down to 6, we need to cut it down to 10. So it's 10 by 6, and we're just going to cut one bit off. Okay, we're going to keep hold of that because we'll come back and use that. Okay, so this is our cover bit, so we'll just put that to one side. Then what you're going to need is you're going to need a piece that is cut to 4.5 by 4.5. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut this at 4.5. Okay, and then you're going to turn this around and cut this down to 4.5 again. So this is the bit that's going to form the inside, the cover of the mechanism. Okay, so you just decide what you want to see and what you don't want to see. So that's 4.5 by 4.5, and again you're going to keep that piece. Okay, so that's the internal mechanism. Then what we're going to do is going to make the pocket bit, which you're going to cut at, the first piece is going to be cut at 3.5 by 4. So we're going to go 3.5 by 4. Okay, and then the next piece you want to be 3.5 by 3.5. So this piece will be just big enough. You're going to cut this piece off, and again you're going to keep that piece. All of these pieces you're going to keep, and then you're going to cut by 3.5 again. And you're going to keep that piece. Okay, so they're all your pieces that you need for this. Now it doesn't make all of the tags and things that you're putting inside. So just so you're aware. So this is the piece that you're going to have as your cover, and you're going to find your scoreboard, which I've got. Now what you want to do is, because this is going to be your exterior, you want to put this face down. Okay, so you're going to put it face down, the right way up, so the top is at the top and the bottom is at the bottom, but face down. Okay, and we're going to score this at 1 7/8. So let me just get my head in the way. 1 7/8, and then at 2, and that's just what gives us this kind of box fold here. Okay, and then you want to score it at 6. Okay, so that's all your creases. Now normally you would do these as valleys become mountains, but these are valleys that are going to become valleys. These are mountains that are going to become mountains. These valleys are going to become valleys. So shut up, Dave. So then we move on to the next piece, which is the next piece that we cut, which is this bigger piece. So you've got like 2 that are the same width, and but one's slightly higher, and then you've got this much bigger piece. This much bigger piece is the one that measures 4.5 by 4.5. You're going to put it onto your scoreboard, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Yeah, then you're going to score it at 2¼ inches. 2¼ and then at 4. Okay, you just take that off, and you're just going to do all of your scoring first. Okay, then you're going to take the next one, the next piece that you cut, which is your 4 by 3.5, and you're going to turn it on its side, so you've got the longest piece across the top. So this is the 4 and this is the 3.5, so you want the 4 across the top, and you're just going to put this on. Sorry, you're going to turn it the other way. So this way you're going to turn it because you want to score the bottom edge. So you're going to turn it around this way, so clockwise, so you've got the top of it in your left hand side. So we're going to score the bottom. That's why we're going to score it at 1/2 inch at the bottom here. Okay, and then that's it for those. Okay, so I'm just going to put our scoreboard out of the way for a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put those score lines in. So this one we're just going to fold up. It doesn't matter which way you fold this, which side you have facing out or whatever. In fact, you can just, it's better if you kind of score it and score it back on itself, because this is the thing that's going to pop up through the presentation bit. So you want it to have a bit more of an easy hinge on it. So it's going to have a bit of a swing door hinge to it. Then we've got this one, and we're just going to fold all of those pieces in. So you're going to fold that bit at the edge, you're going to fold that in the middle, and then you're going to fold this piece. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is, when we've folded it over, we're just going to take this piece that we've used before, we're going to lay it over the top. Yeah, and all you're going to do is you want to lay it over the top, so it's sort of in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect, because people are not going to be looking at whether it's in the middle. No, we're going to be wowing at the fact that this is a hidden pocket. So what you want to do is where this ends, so where these end, you don't want to put a line right next to it. You want to be about 1/16 of an inch out from one side and about 1/16 of an inch out from the other side. If it's 1/8 of an inch, it's not a problem. Just don't go too close to the edge. Okay. Then we're going to open this up. We're just going to extend that line across the middle bit, wherever the other line is. This only knows there. Okay, and you're going to cut a piece out of this. Now, you can either cut this with a pair of scissors by snipping in just you're going in like a 1/16 of an inch, because like if you think then the slot hole that you make will be 1/8 of an inch wide. So you're going to go 1/16 of an inch in, 1/16 of an inch in, and then just cut up in a straight line with using a 1/16 of an inch. But I am much better at cutting with a blade. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to do just an insert there, an insert there, and then I'm going to leave it folded like this and get a ruler. lay my ruler on top and just lay it so that I can see a 1/16 of an inch hanging out, making sure I know where my pencil lines are, or my cut lines are, which I can't actually see now. Can I see it better on this side? Possibly. There. And where's the other one there? I've just turned it over because I can see it better. So I'm just going to go. So we've got, like, see how that's such a tiny amount of overhang there. I'm going to go from that cut line down to the other cut line. I'm going to stop. And then this piece should just come away, and if it doesn't, you might just need to just break it away a little bit. It's not coming away there, but that's just because it's not been cut through, Dave. There you go. Just like that. So now what you've got is, when you open it up, you've got this slot, and that's all you want. You don't want it to be any wider than that. That is perfect, okay? So then you're going to take your other piece, which is your cover, remember. So you're going to fold it on this box line. Remember that we're making it into a cover using the most decorative thing on the outside. So we're just using the school ring as a guide. We're not worrying about whether it's a valley or a mountain. Just trying to get that box fold. Just bear with me a minute. It's resisting me. How dare it? Resistance is futile. Does it not know? And there you go. That's my box folded in. Okay, and then we're just going to fold it in the middle. So then what you've got here, just so you can see, this is 4 inches, this bit. So you've got a 4 by 6 wallet, really. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take this is your piece that is 3.5 by 3.5, and you're going to have these together. Now these are going to form that inner pocket. So you're going to lay them down the way round that you want them. I want it that way round, or do I want it that way round? No, I'm going to have it this way round, because if you think about contrasted to the inside, that's what I'm just going to do. I'm just going to lie them together like this, and I'm just going to take a divot out of both of them. Just so that it's much easier to get the internal thing in and out. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stick these two together. So all you want to do is you want to just put a bead of glue all the way around here. But what we're going to do first, Dave, because you nearly forgot, didn't you? Yes. Honesty is the best policy. We're going to just give it a bit of a darkened edge. Because we can, and we will. And, you know, it'd be silly not to. We've got all of these things in our craft room, and you know, we might as well use them on something, mightn't we? And if you don't have all of these things, then don't worry about it, don't use it. So you don't need to go out and buy it just to make something like this. Apparently when people were starting this junk journaling thing, and all of these products and things didn't exist for our pleasure, people use things like makeup and literally like coffee that's kind of like, you know, what's it, not dehydrated, not when you've kind of boiled away most of the mixture, concentrated, is that right? Don't know, can't concentrate. So yeah, so like I say, don't worry about it. And you're not really going to see this bottom flap. I like to give it just a bit of a zhuzh for any of it that you can see underneath the mechanism, which I'll show you in just a minute what I'm talking about. So on here, so this thing that we're doing here, this is going to be this pocket that sticks out here, and you can just see down here there's the you can see the mechanism that does it. Okay, so if you want to be like me and you just want to make sure that it's kind of all nice and grungy and you can't see that, then do so. So what we're going to do, we're going to stick these together. So you're going to put this, butt it up to that score line. So if you just, remember we put these together anyway, so if you just line your divots up, then they should be in alignment anyway. We're just going to glue around those 3 sides. Sides and bottom. And the closer that you go to the edge, the wider the pocket will be, and the deeper the pocket will be. So you're just going to fold that flap up just to help you use it as a guide. Put it up to that fold, hold it together, and then pull it this way so that it's away from that score line. And it's not going to get in the way then, and then just press those edges down nicely. So that's your inner pocket. Okay, we're just going to put that to one side for a second. Then what we're going to do is we're going to ink the presenting guide. I'm just going to ink all round there and make that suitably inky. So remember to ink the slot side of it as well. So if you are going to ink it, obviously. These are going to fold in, so these are going to be the tabs that glue it in. So you don't need to ink them really. Just on that edge there that you're going to see. Okay. And then just in case you can see inside that mechanism, I'm just going to do a little bit on that foot of the flap. And like I say, this is just a little bit more intricate, bit more, it's not, I wouldn't say it was challenging to do. You just need to think about it when you're doing it, so you need to be present in the moment. So let's ink this, let's ink this up first before I do anything else. So this is going to be your flap at the front, so you might want to take your corner rounder and just round off those corners now. And just ink those edges down. You could round these corners as well, it's not really going to affect it. I chose not to, but like I say, it's all very personal choice, isn't it? So go. So now when we open it up, actually we didn't do the inside, so let's just do the inside a bit. Love this pattern on the inside of this paper. You're not going to see this crease really, just the top and the bottom you're going to see. So there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, okay, and first of all, we're not going to glue both sides of it just yet, okay? What you want to do is you want to take this, you need to slot this through it now, because you'll find it much harder to do otherwise. Okay, so you put it through whichever way round you want it to be. Maybe that way round, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, we're going to take this flap, we're going to glue it. So let's just take that out for a minute, and I'll show you what I mean. We're going to glue this flap. You want to make sure it's got a decent amount of glue on, not because you need the glue, but you need to just be aware that it's going to take a lot of the strain over flexing. Pop this back through before we glue it down. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to lay this down. Try and get this out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing. It's easier when you're here doing it. And you're going to lie this down, so you lie this crease on that crease there. Okay, so you want to just make sure that that is on there. Move it out that way a bit. It'll fold back on itself. Okay, that's fine. So once it's down, just press it down. Okay, then you're going to take this piece. So you're not going to glue this flap just yet. You're going to glue this flap first. And again, what you want to do is you just want to glue it so that it's just, so if you're flipping the flap that way, then that needs to be this side of the fold. If you're doing it the other way, it needs to be the other side of the fold. So I would recommend you fold it back in on itself. We'll just glue it. Now I tend to glue it down all in one, so, but I'm making it easier for you guys. So remember that's got to be slipped into there before you glue it down. You're folding it back on itself, and then what you'll do is you'll fold it and butt this right up to that fold, making sure that it's still in the middle of that space that you've got for your cutout. Okay, and then you're going to take this piece and you fold it over, and then you're going to glue this panel down. So fold it back on itself. You want the card to be almost flat. You don't want it to be completely flat, because you'll find then this will pop out the back and you'll find it much harder to get it to thread itself every time. So then once you pop that down, you'll see how you've got this kind of, it's pulling itself up, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You don't want it to be completely flat, because then when you close it, if it was completely flat, it would disappear all the way into that pocket there. So it would disappear all the way in, and then you'd find it really hard to get it back out again. So then just make sure you push it down, make sure it all just sits in there nicely. So that's our little mechanism there. Okay, so just keep doing it a few times and it'll just get used to being in that space. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to take all of our other pieces. So you'll notice here we've got a thin strip down the front here. That's this thin strip. We're going to pop this on our front flap. Okay, in fact you're going to turn it over because I'm going to have a bit of a contrast. This is the time to ink this. So like I say, this is not about so much about having multiple pockets, but it's about having a bit of fun and having a bit of a kinetic movement in it. So just make sure that you can see this contrast. It's quite a busy paper, this one, so yeah, so there we go. So then we're just going to stick this just a bit, just top and bottom, so that's all you need, because this is just a tuck. So a page band, or that other word that I choose not to use. So that's going to go there. Okay, so that's this piece on the outside. Then we've got a big pocket here, okay, which is, just need to find the right one. I can't remember which one it is now. That's why, because it's this one. Okay, so it's this one, and you're going to cut this down to 4. Okay, so you're going to take this longer piece and you cut it down so that it's 4 inches long. Because we know that that's 4 inches. I would suggest you cut it just like 1/8 of an inch short of that. So that it's more like 3 7/8 wide. And then that way, then you know it's going to sit on there and not interfere with the hinge. Again, you're just going to take your chomper thing and cut out a little bit on the front. I'm going to put it that way round, or should I put it that way, or should I put it that way? Put it that way. So I'm going to just ink that down around that edge. Probably should have it the way around that I want it, so before I ink it. Again, 3 sides away from the divot. You've got more time to do this, so you can take your time on this. I would recommend that when you're making this the first time, you take your time over it. Don't try and rush these out. you can once you've got used to it. Okay, so that's your front pocket here. Okay, then we're going to open it up, and you notice here I've got lots of little tuck things going on. Okay, and that's because we're using these various elements. This long piece here, this is this piece here, so that's going to be, we're going to keep that for the outside. Then you've got another piece which is this piece here, and that's going to sit here, so we're going to take those out of the equation. And then what you'll find is the bits that you've got left will make exactly what I've got in here. So this piece we're going to cut in half. Okay, so let's just measure it and I'll show you what I mean. This is 2.5. So that means that you're going to need it to be 1 and a, I can't remember. What did I just say? It was 2.5. So it's going to be half of 2 is 1. So it's going to be 1 1/4. Sorry, Dave. Sorry, Dave. I mean, sorry, people, not Dave. I'm not saying sorry to myself. So it's going to be 1 1/4 wide. Take those off. Decide which way you want them out. Now, the reason I chose to tuck them this way, is tucking them in this way, is because if we'd had them tucking the other way, you're inclined to put in something a bit wider, and it'll end up getting folded up in the crease. And the same happens with this one. Okay. But the problem is it gets in the way of this mechanism. If you put it on this side, you then end up getting something that sits over this mechanism here, and you'll find that the card doesn't open properly. So we want to have this tucked in here. So you just need to think, okay, so they're both going to sit the same way round. Which way am I going to have these? So I'm going to have them inside this one. Obviously not that way round, this way round. I'm just going to take the same corner off. Didn't quite get those to be the same width, but it's fine. So take that same corner off. You're just going to ink them if you want to ink them. And then when you stick them down, you just want to just line them up nicely. So I'll show you what I'm going to do about the lining up. Okay, so first one we're going to do, we're going to line it up against this, and we're just going to glue down those two straight edges down to the right angle corner, not the corner we've just made rounded. Okay, open it up, and we're just going to push this up against that mechanism and have it sitting at the bottom. And that way then you know nothing is going to go sit over that mechanism, because everything gets pushed in this way. Okay, and then this one, again, you're going to glue down this side at the bottom, and this time what you're going to do is you're going to lift it up on itself. Not as easy to do for you guys, but you just want to lift it up so that it folds on that very first fold, and then you glue that in up to that first fold, and that way then you know that this isn't going to get in the way of that. Okay, then you've got this piece, okay, which measures, I think it's 2, yep it is. So you want this to be cut down into at 1. And you're going to take these 2 off, put them back to back, and then just round these corners. So I'm just going to round them with my little snipper one, otherwise they'll get lost in that big thing. There and there. I'm just going to ink those. So we've got some very different kind of tucks and ways to put things in to this, and that's just because we're using up all of our bits, because you know me, I like to use all the bits. So then, because this is a tuck, you're just going to do along the straight edge, you're going to do about 2/8 of an inch in glue. I've got a handy line on that one, so up to that handy line, and then you're going to put one of these at the top of this panel, just making sure that it's out of the way of this, which is your mechanism, and then the other one at the bottom. So then you've got a tuck here, okay, and then what you've got is you've got these pieces left. Now what we're going to do is we're going to round both ends of these So all of the corners are going to get rounded. Just an aesthetic thing. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. It's fine. It doesn't have to be done. I just like getting rid of those really spiky corners because they're the ones that usually succumb to being folded over and getting dog-eared, etc. So, in fact, probably should have done it that way around, which I should have done. I just like the contrast of the different things. So, this one, okay, is going to be this side. Okay, so if you look on this one, it's the one on that sticks out of this side. And literally all it is you're going to take this and you're going to have about an inch in, so you can just put it on your score board and just score it at an inch if you want to. And fold it over. We can then just ink that bit, that edge. So this is going to sit up here. Okay, you just want to make sure it sits a bit clear. You don't have to make it sure it sits a bit clear of the pocket, but I think just aesthetically I like to have a little bit like clear. We're going to place it down, and then the tab at the back, we're not going to glue all the way across, because again we're going to turn that into a little bit of a a little bit of a tuck. So I'm going to glue it like that and then fold it over and just make sure it sticks down nicely. Okay, then we're going to take this piece, and again this piece here is, sorry, this way up. This piece is, what you want to do this time is you want to make sure that there is enough overhang. Let's do it that way around, Dave. There is enough overhang that you'll be able to put a sticky dot under this flap. Okay, so I'm going to actually fold it. You see how there's a little line there on mine? I'm just going to fold it at that line. So I'm not even going to bother with scoring it. I'm just going to fold it. And again, we're just going to ink all around this one. I'll wipe that out of the way for a minute. And just on this bit, all the way around and on the tabby bit. Okay, so again, what you want to do is, remember this is going to be a tab as well. So you're going to glue to, so if you hold it in an L shape, okay, then you just want to make sure you put in a bit of glue along the back edge. Somebody really wants to get hold of me today. So just like that. And then when you put it onto your folio, you just want to make sure that when it sits on it, you're just in the middle of that other back flap before it kind of grabs. There we go, so like that, and then you're just going to pinch it down, and that way then, because you glued it on the back bit, okay, you've glued it on there, it means what you've got is you've got tabs at the back, but this opens out and doesn't get in the way of this piece. If it had been glued at the front, it'd get away in the way of this. Okay, so then they go together, and then you just need a sticky dot, or not a sticky dot, sorry, a Velcro dot, or you know, you might want to punch 2 holes in it, or you might want to put a button on there. Pop that on like that, press it down, and when you open it up, just press that down a bit again. So you open it up, and then there you go, you've got your presented thing. And it doesn't do any of the inner bits. In fact, I've glued that in upside down, but I've only just noticed, it doesn't matter. But then you've got that presents itself, folds all up nicely, and there we go. So just like that. So I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was a little bit more complex, but I really wanted you to have one that was a bit more, you know, kinesthetic. So it has that kinetic appeal, so interactive. So there you go. Not kinesthetic. Kinesthetic is your learning style. What did I just say? Kinetic. So kinetic is when it moves and has some kind of kinetic energy, I guess. That's what that comes from, is the kinetic energy is movement energy. Anyway, shut up, Dave. Start a physics lesson. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Might be something you give a go of. If you do like it, please give me a thumbs up. It really does help. It's something I've been working on for a while, and it really shows me that you enjoy the innovation of things. I am trying to grow the channel. The more people that subscribe, the better. The more people that share it, the better. The more people that comment, the better. The more people that like it, definitely the better, because I know compared to the number of people that watch it, the number of likes is a fraction, a tiny fraction. So please do give it a like, even if it means that at the end of the week you come back and like all of the videos that you've watched. But I really do appreciate it. I love you all very much. You know I do, because I love you all without exception, until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all very soon. Lots of love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Lots of hugs. My name's Dasher Dave, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.